Welcome to the Billy Hufsey Podcast. Today we have a very, very special guest. I think he knew me when I was in a stroller. It's so awesome to do this show and to have a history like I have with this fellow. We don't really want to talk about how long, but our hairs probably show that. He was my barber when I was a little guy, and I like to bring on. He's a mogul in Brook Park. Don Rudy. Hi, Don.
How you doing, Billy?
Okay, better now, man. Better now. You have to be a mogul, being the only barber in town. You know, you knew everybody, and everybody comes in and tells you good, bad, or indifferent. It doesn't make a difference. You became their good friend.
Yep, that's why I know all the history of Brook Park. I know
You
everybody
sure
and
do.
everything about Brook Park.
That's so funny. Well, Don, tell me how you got in, and I'm going to tell you a little something funny about cutting hair. But you were raised in Brook Park. How long? What was your childhood like?
Well, I came there when I was 12 years old, 1956, and well, there wasn't much to do. I hung around with Mike Lucas, who was the first guy I met in Brook Park. We hunted and trapped in Brook Park. There was all woods. There was just only 5 streets. Then you had Fair Lawn area and 130th. That's all. You know, there was nobody there hardly. We had. I don't know if you remember. You were on my street. We had wood pellets for sidewalks when they built the houses. There was no sidewalks. It was just all mud.
That's crazy. And you remember Brookgate Shopping Center was what, Don?
I remember them building it. It was a baseball field. They played baseball there in the early 50s or late 50s.
Yes.
And they built it in 60. They took our ball field away.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you would definitely know better than I would. E.W. Ferry was where people played baseball.
Yes, we played all baseball every day, and then we played football there on Sundays. There was a Lawson's store across the street.
Yes.
And if you hit the ball in the street, there was a home run. It was just, whoa, we had such a good time there.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine say that Brook Park was like the closest to Mayberry RFD.
Yeah.
It was a great community, and you knew everybody.
Yep.
Sad to say, when I go down the street now, when I visit, I look at all these, like your parents and
Magnus are all gone. Everyone's gone now.
Yeah, that's a tough thing for me because I'm a bit of a sissy when it comes to that.
Me too.
Because they're good people, you know, and they're still good people in Brook Park, and then that's why I decided to do this show and try to bring attention to this great community. We may get the Cleveland Browns, that would be good, but more important than that, it's a great community to be raised in.
Yes.
And you were at the beginning of everything.
I started the first plain dealer routes there. I was the first. I was on the first Class F team in Brook Park. I think we just had enough guys. Your dad just rounded us up. Whoever could get wanted to play ball. And the funny thing is, we had to go to Gunnings Park on Puritas.
Yes.
So we only had 9 or 10 of us. But the week before the first game at our practice, your dad brought a big box. They were going. There was a box of hats. We all had a blue hat with a big W on it because in them days your baseball team was called Summit on the Indians. We were the Brook Park Wirtzes. Remember the Vic Wirtz played with the Indians?
Yeah.
Anyway, he had this box of hats. We all got a hat. They were twice the size of our head. Our mothers had to sew them so they fit us, but we felt like a team. That's, nowadays they got full uniforms. We had a hat and we were happy. And your dad just wanted us to play. That's all. That's
Yeah.
And we went right to the championship game and we lost. So we got there with our ragtag team.
Wow. What was it? That's amazing stuff. And a great story. You went to Berea High School. I didn't know that you graduated from Berea. So did I.
Yes, because there was no mid-park. We're the last class for Berea High. And then in 62, 63 is when they had both schools, Mid-Park and Berea, and they separated everyone.
And now?
It's back to Berea Mid-Park, one school.
Come full circle, didn't it, Don?
Yes. It's
full circle. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So when did you decide to cut hair?
I was cutting hair in my teens down my basement in my dad's house. I cut my buddy's hair. And then later on, that's how I got my beer money while I was in high school.
Right on.
50 cents, I think I was charging.
Oh my Gosh, yeah. And I didn't have a paper out. Well, I had the Sun News, not the Plain Dealer.
All right.
Yeah, and then I did. Your parents were my customer. I was the press. I did the press.
I had the press route for a while too.
Oh my God! Yeah, right on your corner where you were raised is where I think
They dropped all the papers.
Those are great times. And then so you cutting hair. Now you had to go to school though.
Yeah, when I got out of high school, I didn't have enough money for barber school, so I worked at the tank plant for 6 months.
Wow!
I made enough money to go, and I quit. And then my wife, in the meantime, was going to beauty school. But I remember the guy at the tank plant going, "Are you sure you want to quit?" And I'm thinking, yeah, I want to be a barber. I could have retired 20 years ago with a pension, then went to barber school. But anyway, but I just didn't want to be inside the tank plant. There was no windows or nothing. You didn't see anybody all day.
Yes, I do remember that, the tank plant. I won I was in many dance contests, and I won the national dance title. And with that, they gave me different scholarships. And one of my scholarships that I was blessed to get was a full ride to Grace School of Cosmetology.
Yeah, Grace. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
Yes.
And if I wasn't an actor, I would have been a hairstylist.
You look like a hairstylist.
Is that good or bad? Wait a minute. He could be getting a side joke. What is the so you're in? They got so many great movies about barbershops and and salons. Yeah.
What commercials too? They're in a lot of commercials now. They never were years ago.
They are, but yeah, well, it's a lot of fun. It's and I know when I'm getting my haircut, I could actually talk to that person about anything, and it's like they're not judgmental because they hear more.
We're like therapists, they tell us all their problems.
Yeah, what is it? Do you get the number one question? Hey Don, am I going bald?
Yeah,
my hair.
I say nah. I never tell them to go bald.
No, I know. I used to say in my show in Vegas, I had that long, wavy, curly hair. Yeah. Now it's just waving goodbye on me. My mother cut hair. I don't know if you knew that. And,
no, I didn't.
Yeah, and my sister Willeen cuts hair.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. They, my mom didn't have a license. She did it like you in the basement.
Yeah.
And then Willeen, I think Willeen actually went to Grace School of Cosmetology after I had the scholarship for 5 or 6 years, and it expired, obviously, and she had to pay. So sorry, sister. What about the boxing? Now, you were a boxer. We got so much in common here.
Oh my God, yeah. The first boxing team in Brook Park, we got together. It was we had a great time. We used to train at the old city hall by the airport, concrete floor. You went down, you hit the concrete.
Yeah.
We had no ring.
That's fun.
My dad, he let me he gave me his Marine duffel bag, and we went to a junkyard or a sawmill. We got rags and sawdust, put it in there, and I had a heavy bag I hit every day down in my basement.
Yeah,
and I
loved it.
Yeah, you always look good hitting the bag because they don't hit back. You could do.
Yeah, that's true. You always look good on a bag.
Oh hell yeah!
I remember because I started boxing. I had my little first exhibition in 3rd grade, but hitting the heavy bag, they were sand at that time, and the sand comes down to the bottom.
Oh yeah.
And because I was a little guy, I'm hitting
sand,
hard sand. Yeah. So arthritis creeped in on my hands. That Okay, let me ask you this. I'm gonna make you think. I know you've been hitting the head a few times, but you're gonna have to think. How many mayors did you cut their hair?
Guido. Who?
Topping.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I might have done topping once, but mostly Guido, and then of course Eddie Orcutt. Now I do him now.
Yep. You never got Mayor Polony?
No.
Wow.
Guido was my best one. He was there 20 years too, wasn't he?
A long time. Yeah, long time.
Tommy Coyne, I cut a few times too.
Yeah. That's when you know somebody really knows somebody. Like it's Tommy Coyne to me. It's not Tom, or it's I got a guy coming on, the guy that played football for Berea and then played a few years in the NFL. and he's 6'6", 300 pounds. But he's Chrissy Scott to be, But that's when no, that guy really knows that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that something? And another thing, how long have you been married?
60 years. We got married the same month that I started working at the barbershop. 1965. Yeah. Wow. The shop was 6 years old. I had worked at another shop for a year, and George was no dummy. I lived right down the street, and I'm a young kid. He let me work for a year before he told me to have me come and work for him.
Okay.
And I would refuse at first. I didn't want to go there. I was happy where I was at. But he says, someday you're going to own this. I said, okay, I'll start.
And I went from my first cut to, I guess, him, and then right to you right after. And
yeah, he moved to Florida, opened up a shop there. And he cut till he was 90 years old.
That's pretty, well, I guess you can, as long as you stand up, do your thing. That's funny stuff. I like that. What do you think about the Browns possibly coming to?
It's a done deal. Believe me, it's a done deal. I cut the mayor's hair every week. He's been on this for the last over 2 years. He's been working on this with Haslam.
Well, I think it could be a great thing. I always caution people to take a chill pill because it gets rough a little bit. Before you get to the top of the mountain, there's a couple of moguls.
Oh yeah,
relax. We'll get there. In time. By the mile, it's a trial. By the yard, it's hard. But by the inch, it's a cinch. We will get there.
You got that?
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. That's great. Your beautiful wife is awesome. I think I went there to get a haircut one time or two times. You were taking a day off, so she filled in. Actually, she cut my hair better than you. Just say it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I had a chance and I took it.
We worked next to each other for 27 years and we're still married.
That's crazy.
Say that?
Not many. That's pretty awesome. And I remember your beautiful dad and mom. Whenever I come home to visit and driving down, the last time I saw him, I'm living in Los Angeles and I look over and your dad's on a ladder, do something with the gutters or something. I remember
he's cutting the trees. He's always trimming his trees
when they didn't even need to be trimmed this much.
Yeah. Guys would come in the barbershop. Your dad's on the ladder again, Don. Then I'd have to over there. We took the ladder away from him, and he went down the street till he saw a garage open with a ladder. He went up to the guy and asked if he could borrow his ladder. So much for not having a ladder.
Well, I stopped. I parked and then I ran over there. I said, Mr. Rudy, let me help you. Oh, I'm okay, kid. I'm okay. I said, let me just do this. I got nothing to do. He goes, all right, if you want to help me a little bit. Yeah, he was awesome. But that house, I have to say, your house and your landscaping has got to be impeccable because the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Oh yeah, I'm always out in the yard. Just like
isn't that beautiful? And your dad lived to how many years?
He was 94.
God bless
him. And he fell and hit his head. He would have lived to probably be 100. But he fell and hit his head. Nobody was there. He's by himself, and he bled out.
I'm so sorry. I
remember the coroner saying this guy was in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
It was a shame that happened, but
yeah.
My mom died a little more than a year before that. He was at the cemetery every day. He'd sit there and talk to her for hours.
I love it.
And
but that's
barbershop and sweep and go to the bank for us and go to lunch. He said
it was
the best job he ever had, but he never got paid.
Yeah, those are the kind of people that are in Brook Park, and that is that's the roots of that. And you're certainly and I mean that, a mogul in that town. Everybody that knows you loves you, and I've never heard a bad thing about you. That, my friend, makes your dad smile. Trust me.
I remember I just told out. I said the other day, the best compliment I ever got from somebody was years ago. He says, he said, I haven't met a person yet that didn't say anything good about you. No one ever said anything bad about you. And that was a nice compliment. Everyone likes you,
Yeah.
You don't get any enemies.
Yeah. And what's also very cool that you still anyone needs their haircut out there, Don still works 2 days a week.
2 days a week.
You're gonna work till it's your last day, I think.
Yeah,
I think.
probably find me behind the chair on the floor, maybe.
Well, I mean, now, when is it gonna be, or is it ever gonna be? I'm done.
Everyone asks me, and I always say every year. I say at the end of the year. When the end of the year comes, I'll see how I feel. I've said that the last couple. Well, I sold it 3.5 years ago, and I was going to only work a year, but here I am. It's going to be 4 years, and I'm still there. But as long as I feel good, because I see all my friends. What a job you have where you can see all your friends every day and still make money too at the same time.
The old adage is find something you love to do for a living. You'll never work a day in your life.
That's exactly right.
And I think you were so blessed with that, my friend.
Yes.
The Rudy family is a awesome family, well respected, well loved. Thank you so much for coming on. What I'm going to do is we got a few people that work on the show, so I'm going to bring them on, and you can say hello to them if they got a question for Mr. Rudy.
Come over here and say goodbye to Bill. There's my lovely wife here, right? She's
Bring her in. Bring her in.
Here, there she is.
Just as beautiful. It's amazing. You guys don't age.
Well, I do. She don't.
Oh, you guys both look phenomenal. I'm gonna bring out my crew so you can say hello before we sign off. How's that?
Okay. Good talking to you, Billy.
Oh yeah, I'm not leaving you. You're not getting rid of me yet.
Hey guys.
Hey. Hello. It was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Rudy. That was amazing. Your stories are absolutely beautiful. I loved every second of it.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
That's funny. Yeah, it's funny because when you go home, I ran into him. I think I might put that right before the show. You and I took a picture right outside.
Outside of Santos Pizza. Yeah, Santos, restaurant.
That's so awesome. But, people that knew you when you were a kid, and he knew me when I was a little, like a baby kid.
Yeah, I always told Billy he'd come in the shop. He was really a pain in the ass because he'd ask me question after question. And I asked him, Billy, why are you asking me all these questions? He goes, because my dad said you'll never learn anything unless you ask questions.
God bless my dad.
Boy, yes.
That's fun. That's fun. You got anything to say, Ty or Sophia, to Mr. Rudy?
Yeah, Don, it's a pleasure to meet you. Super wholesome story. I love the little tidbits about Brook Park. I'm curious, is there anything that you would change about being a barber?
No,
I do it all over again.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome.
That is amazing. Yeah. That's quite amazing.
Yeah.
If you can look back, because that's and being a barber, man, you're on your feet all day long too.
My doctor asked me, "Don't your feet hurt?" I go, "No, nothing hurts."
So you're blessed. You're blessed. Sophia, got anything? Because you live. Oh, I got. Just tell them where you're from, Ty. What part of the country?
I am from Washington. I'm from Central Washington.
Yeah, okay. That's
okay.
I'm in the high desert.
Yes, I'm in San Diego, and I did have a question. I know you mentioned Billy was a pain in the ass. I'd like to know a little bit more. How was he in the chair? Was he a squirmer or was he nice?
He squirmed a little bit.
Yeah, I probably did. That's funny. That's a good question, Tony. You're going to get cracked when I see you. But, Billy's in San Diego, so he's safe.
Yeah, it wasn't in San Diego. Yeah, we go there every year, just about.
Our son's up.
And our son's in
Los Angeles.
Lake Forest. No, he's in Lake Forest.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, so we go there every year. We love California. And then Holly's family's out there in the valley.
Santa Clarita.
Well, that's her cousin. Yeah, our nephew. He's in Santa Clarita, and his dad's in the valley. And where? Van Nuys. Yeah.
Van Nuys. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll say for Sophia, you better get him a good question, because Sophia, you guys could actually walk to each other's house. Mm-hmm. Sophia lives in Strongsville. He lives in.
Oh, wow.
Don lives in Medina.
Yeah, we're in Medina.
Oh my gosh, I have family in Medina. Well, my one question is, okay, for starters, I've loved working on this podcast because obviously I live close to Brook Park, but I never visited. So it's been so much fun learning about it, and I might have to go visit. So my question is, what's my number one spot I have to visit?
What is your what?
The number one spot I got to visit at Brook Park.
In Brook Park.
The barbershop, of course.
Barbershop, of course.
Love it.
Okay.
I just want to tell you, my wife and my daughter both worked at the barbershop. So there's three of us that worked there for years.
Oh,
It's so
And they're
sweet.
both
That's
retired, and I'm the oldest, and I'm still, yeah.
it's still going. Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. My camera's flying off. I'm going to sign off with my hand holding it. This is live television.
You can't make it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Don. We love you. And now you got 4 new friends, man. Or 3 new
Hey,
friends.
love you all.
Pleasure to
Great.
meet you.
All right.
That was a pleasure.
Peace out.
Pleasure here too.
God bless.
Okay, God bless you.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye.
I'd like to thank Don Rudy. He's an awesome dude. He spent some good time with us, and we really appreciate him. And Sophia has something to say. This is crazy.
It's insane. I'm so glad I was able to make it today because we talked a little bit after the podcast, and it turns out I'm a relative of Mr. Don Rudy's. We're very closely related, so hopefully I'll be able to stop by the barbershop. But in the meantime, maybe you guys could stop back next Thursday and make sure you catch the Billy Hufsey Podcast.
Thank you for coming out and listening to the Billy Hufsey Podcast. We really appreciate you. And we're about to check out now. Diana, take us out, can you?
And thank you, everyone, for joining us. We truly appreciate you. And if you liked what we had to talk about and you want to join us, please subscribe, hit that bell, leave us a message. We'll answer a few of you. But let me let you know that there is no fee for your subscription. And if you're asked to pledge, you don't have to. It's all right. We enjoy your company. See you soon.
See you next week.